Now what are we gonna do? Now these are the items you're gonna need in case you've broken your main part of your bong. Now to replace your bong, hopefully you kept at least one of your bowls for concentrates or for flowers. Then you're gonna need most, if not all, of your downstem. If you have at least part of this, we're gonna make this thing work. Some sort of tubing. This is a good diameter tubing. We're gonna use this one. You have a little larger tubing, that would be great as well. And then, sharp objects. And now you know, don't be a dumbass when you're using these. And then, a jar with a resealable lid. Some people like to call them pickle jars, but I just say these are canning jars. And we're gonna use those. Now I'm gonna show you how we make it. Step one to making our replacement bong is we're gonna wanna begin poking holes in our lid. The first hole I'm gonna make is for our smaller tube, and this is gonna be serving as our mouthpiece. This one we're gonna wanna make a hole for right here. And I wanna size that up and put it near sort of the edge. You wanna make sure there's a good spacing in between both of the holes to where we're gonna go ahead and eventually put our downstem on the opposite side. So I've chosen this side to where I'm gonna go ahead and put the mouthpiece. Now select your sharp object. Now make sure you're very careful with these things. I'm gonna go ahead and use this saw. Basically, it's just the pointy tip at the end, and that's what we're gonna use to go ahead and make our hole. Now, I'm gonna start very slowly. We don't have to do any of these things in a hurry, and I'm just gonna gradually tap at it, and it's gonna poke right through, and a few little taps there. Now that I've gone all the way through, now I don't want the hole to get bigger than I need it ahead of time. Now I know it's a little too small, and I'm just gonna show you guys that we're gonna size that up, and it won't quite go through there. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna continue to take the original item that I poked the hole and go a little larger and poke this through a little further and make the hole a little bigger until we can just barely get the straw or tubing that we're gonna use. And there we have it. Now that one doesn't need to poke very far through there. That just needs to be a little bit through there because eventually we're gonna want our downstem to go all the way through there. And that's the step I'm gonna show you guys next. Now our second step is gonna be just like our first step. We're gonna poke a hole. This time we're gonna need it to fit our downstem. This hole is gonna be a bit larger, and we're gonna wanna put that on the exact opposite side from our first hole. We don't wanna place it too close to the first hole, and you'll see why when we have the finished product. Now I'm gonna begin poking our second hole, and we're gonna take it slow. I don't wanna use any kind of sealants while we're doing this, so I wanna poke the holes just large enough for these items to fit through, just like I did on the first step with the tube. Now that I've got the hole through, we're gonna begin working that hole, and I'm gonna puncture this one, and again, being very careful not to be a dumbass. We're gonna make that hole quite a bit larger. As you can see, we have a little bit ways to go to get that all the way through that hole. So we're gonna keep working on that hole until it's large enough to go through there. Now take your time. Once you made the hole too big, it's not gonna be any good for you. So we're gonna wanna work that hole a little bit at a time and keep stretching it out until we're able to fit that downstem into that hole. So now that we've been working the hole for a little bit, we have it to the diameter that we want to fit our downstem into. We're gonna go ahead and work our downstem slowly through there. Again, none of this needs to be any rush. Unless the zombies are knocking on your door and you wanna make sure you get your last hit right before you die. Then we're gonna go ahead and take the one that we're using for our mouthpiece, and we're again gonna slowly work that into the hole. Now finished up for your lid, you're gonna have one tube that's gonna go down into the water and one tube that you're gonna use to take your hit from. We're gonna complete putting the lid together. This one was a two-piece lid. Some pieces, of course, you've seen lids that are all one piece. And now we're ready to put this on our jar, and we're almost ready to use it. So now that we've completed our lid with the mouthpiece and downstem, we're gonna go ahead and attach it to our jar. Now I've filled this with the last remaining ice on Earth and water. And we've left a gap just above where our downstem is going to land into the water. Now depending on your size jar, you're going to have to fudge with this yourself and make sure, of course, that your mouthpiece does not go into the water. Now we're going to go ahead and screw that on tight, and I'm going to go ahead and test it out and see if we can get some bubbles through there. Excellent. If you've taken your time, you didn't need to put any sealant at all around where you made the holes. It's bubbling. We're going to go ahead and add the bowl, and I think we're ready to resume and survive that zombie apocalypse. So now that we've made our replacement bong to get back to surviving the zombie apocalypse, you guys make sure you click the like button, leave us your comments. We love those even when we're running from zombies. And you guys share this amongst your fellow survivors. Make sure you pass this thing around. There won't be many of these bongs left in the future. And we'll see you guys next time. As long as the zombie dogs don't get us.